It is news to nobody by now that Goosebumps finally has gotten its Funko Pop releases. We've been waiting for these for a very long time, nearing a decade at this point, and they're finally here, and I'm really happy about them. I think most of them are pretty cool, and these two are actually my favorites, which are the ones I got first, and I have them in my cases. Yeah. But you're probably getting annoyed by this sound. So they're finally here, and now that they're here, we're probably wondering, what's next for Goosebumps Funko Pops? Because, as you can see, they sold out pretty quickly online. Barnes & Noble sold out immediately. Slappy, the Haunted Mask, you name it, they all sold out really quickly, or, you know, they were just selling like wildfire. Yeah, these were really good sellers by the looks of it. And in stores, they seem to be selling okay too. I haven't heard terrible things, but I haven't heard amazing things. I just know, hey, they're being bought, so that's nice to hear. Since they are doing well, I believe it is really likely that we're going to get more Funko Pop content for Goosebumps, as in a wave 2. And in this wave, I think they're going to mix it up a little bit, from just being book pops to also some TV show pops, as well as a miscellaneous one, which we'll do straight off the bat, because this one is inevitable. At some point they continue this. This one is super likely, and the one I think we all want most. So yeah, before I get into this, I want to say, leave your thoughts below. What do you think would be in a potential Wave 2 for Goosebumps Funko Pops, and what else do you think they might do outside of Funko Pops, under the Funko name, of course? Do you think they'll do Goosebumps Mini Pops? Maybe Big Pops? That would be cool. And who knows what else. So yeah, here we fucking go. And our first pick today, and there's 8 here. It's 5. But yeah, there's 8 here. 2 TV show pops, 5 book pops to fit the theme of the first wave, and a miscellaneous. And I'll start off with miscellaneous, like I said. And that is none other than Curly. Can see this is Curly. Now, I think they're going to go, obviously, with the mascot form, how he has his scarf, he has the glasses, he is a skeleton instead of this ghoul, ghostly figure. It's just going to be the most common form of Curly, with the pink mohawk and the scarf and all of his iconic accessories. And I think it's going to be a miscellaneous. It's not going to be called a pop book or a pop TV show. I think it might be a pop mascot, if that's a series, or something of the sort. If not, they can just say pop book, since he is literally on the cover of a book. Then just call it Curly. No biggie. But yeah, it feels really likely that they will do Curly at some point, because it just makes sense. I mean, he was the mascot. People do remember him nowadays, especially 90s kids, so that'll definitely sell alright if people do remember Curly, which I'm sure a lot of 90s kids probably do. So yeah, Curly's gonna sell pretty well, I feel, and it's just really likely since he was the mascot. We're moving into books now. We have an extremely likely one, and all of these are pretty safe picks, I feel. Maybe not the next one, but One Day Horrorland. Now, obviously they're gonna call it One Day Horrorland, and obviously the pop character in question could be a horror. Now, I think I want them to more specifically replicate the cover art. It feels really likely that if they are going to do Horrorland-based Funko Pop, they do the cover art. Because not only is it iconic, no shit, they also might sell it better. You know, there's this horror, and then you see the iconic sign. Because you just saw this green monster, and you couldn't remember what the hell it was. Yeah, just by looking out without reading the title, it wouldn't really be, you know, oh, I'm going to buy that. But if you remember this iconic cover art, which is one of the most popular books and cover arts, you're going to remember that sign right there. And if they put that sign in with the horror appearing over it, feels like it'd sell better. So that is my first idea for a book pop in Wave 2, one based off the actual cover art. This next one, once again based off the cover art, but more or less the cover art is very similar to the book. The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. Now, this one is probably the least likely out of these just because of the structure. Alright, this one is so out there. I mean, what the fuck, dude? How are we gonna turn this into a pop? My theory is that they're gonna kind of do the warped effect, and they're gonna make the bird like this big, and they're gonna make the clock like this narrow, not so big thing. But I really love to see them do Where Fever Swamp Thing, where it's a bigger pop, but not like a massive pop. But it's still bigger. Because in those boxes, like the Word Fever Swamp, there's more room. They could fit a little cuckoo clock and then the cuckoo bird itself in there. Or they can do something special. I don't know a lot about Funko Pops, but this is something I think they could do, and obviously it is a decently popular one now thanks to the TV show. So yeah, this next one feels extremely likely as well because it's another iconic book. Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns. What can I say? It is Attack the Jack-o'-lanterns. It's pretty simple what they do. I think that they would do one of these guys and the dog. No, pointing wrong. Right here. And, feels really likely. It's iconic cover art. Once again, it's an iconic book. There's not a lot to be said. It just makes a lot of sense that they do this one at some point. I feel like Attack Jack-o'-lanterns, their time's here. So, yeah. Now, next up. This one's gonna make people like, really? And this could be the least likely in terms of happening because Cuckoo Clock is a weird structure. This one is more likely than that, but it's still like, raw. But it's still a safe pick because it does feature Slappy, Night of the Living Dummy 2. Now, the reason I wanted to point this out is because you could do it a multitude of ways, alright? And not to mention, it is Slappy again. It is Slappy again. It's gonna sell well. It's Slappy. Slappy's the fucking mascot. I'm pretty sure it'd do well. Now, ways you can do this, you can make it a bigger pop, like the Where For Fever Swamp one, and make there a bed. Or make it miniature, make it a normal size pop, and somehow fit a bed in there. But that sounds very unlikely. They could also do it different ways. They don't have to do the cover art. They can make Slappy painting over Sarah's, I believe Sarah's the sister's name, painting over painting, like he does in book, I believe both the book and episode, unless I'm having a horrible memory fuck. Or he could be, you know, doing his usual shenanigans, or, my personal favorite way, Slappy, he's just sitting down with the dolls. You don't need to include the bed. It would be super simple and super effective. And it would remind people with this, you know, these cute little cuddly creatures, and then this disgusting, horrifying monster. Not very disgusting, but he has a pretty sour language. But yeah, feels likely. More Slappy content, why not do Dummy 2, since it is the second Slappy Pop, technically. Next up, Monster Blood 2 with Cuddles. Not only do I think it is extremely likely to do Monster Blood, it just makes perfect sense that it'd be Cuddles. Cuddles was one of the mascots. This is a very iconic cover art, once again. And there's Monster Blood. Now, there's a multitude of ways you can do it. You can make it Cuddles, like on his hind legs, with gobs of Monster Blood, it drooling down his mouth. But I think the best way to do it is that, but with a can of Monster Blood in his hand. That's just my theory. It makes perfect sense in my eyes that they would do it like that, of all ways. Because at least you have to imply that it's Monster Blood. But here's the hard part. How would you title the pop? Would it be called Monster Blood 2? But there was never one before, right? No, we didn't do a Monster Blood pop before, and even then it would make sense. And it's like, unless you did like Sarah Beth and then called it Monster Blood. But then again, nobody would remember her. Yeah, if it's like a random adult, like, wait, where's the Monster Blood? There's just some random lady dressed in black. So, they probably just call it Cuddles, the horrible hamster, whatever they want to call it, you know, the official name, or just Cuddles. Who knows? Just, this one feels like one they're probably thinking about since he was a mascot. Next up, we have our TV show pops. And I only did 2 because I think they're trying to test the market. Alright, they're not going to go out of their way this time, you know, with, well, I mean, they already are obviously going to do a few more than last time in whatever wave we have coming next, if they actually decide to do so, which I think is a good option. People are going to buy them, apparently. I mean, you can see by sales. And I'll start off with the most obvious one. Slappy. Again! Another Slappy pop. But it just, this isn't like what I want. A lot of these aren't really what I really want, because I'd love to see a pop of like some Nagata covers. I think Fifi is extremely likely, but, you know, I think they'd save her for like movie pops. And do Nagata's art in the background, that'd be fucking cool. Or maybe do it based on GWG, but no. I am playing it safe. Playing it safe, just doing ones that I think are really likely. And Slappy from the TV show feels likely. Yeah, TV show Slappy with the orange hair, you know, combed ass hair, with that, you know, particular look that we all know and love. And it just makes sense, alright? people have nostalgia for the covers and the show. And it feels like, well, they should do one for the show as well. And out of all these, I think this is like easily the most fucking likely next to Curly to get made. Slappy TV show version, yeah, absolutely gonna be one that happens. It is extremely iconic, just as iconic as the covers, if not more. Because obviously a lot more people have watched TV than read books, I believe. I don't know. Maybe common sense. And finally, the other most iconic mascot from the TV series, Mr. Mortman. Specifically his monster form, of course, and of course, the way he looks specifically in the show. I think that is so likely to happen if they do a little wave of TV show pops, and I think they will do more than just 2. I think they do like 4, but still, I'm just playing it safe here, keeping this list simple. This would make a lot of sense, right? People remember Mr. Mortman pretty much just as much as you remember Slappy and the Haunted Mask. Of course, I don't think they're doing Haunted Mask right away, since it's little similar, if you know what I mean, to the book covers, so maybe they won't do it at all. I mean, we already got the Haunted Mask, it's close enough. But yeah, Mr. Mortman feels extremely likely that they do it. And even then, it would work as a regular pop. They could take a little bit of inspiration from the show and spice it up. I don't know. It would work as a book pop as well. So yeah, Mr. Mortman would obviously be the other TV show pop. He is one of the big boys from the show, and one of the most memorable monsters and villains from the 90s series. And yeah, that is my little list of what I would believe would be in a Funko Pop's Goosebumps Wave 2. Tell me your list below if you have one or something. Tell me what ones you would love to see, because maybe I'll do like a hopes video, I don't know. Probably not very soon. If so, probably not this year. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.